Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, and we are in Chapter 5 of Waltz's Route, so we should be getting our good ending today? Hopefully? I don't know, we'll see. Might be a long part, we'll find out. Anyway, when we arrive, the usual group is already there, along with our two guests. Good morning, newlyweds. Oh, that's right, we got married. It's been a couple days. I had to record some other stuff, and then, I didn't get to record this when I wanted to. So it took a couple extra days, so I forgot what happened. Look, if it had been a day, I'd have forgotten what happened, but it's been 3, so anyway. Good morning, Your Majesty. Prince Lance looks at Waltz, a concerned look on his face. Consternated look on his face, whatever. Waltz is fine. Good morning, Lord Waltz. Claude sighs. You're as stiff as always, Llama. And you're far too colloquial, Karma. I take my seat at the table and glance at Ophelia, who sits in front of me. Congratulations again, you two. You were quite the handsome couple yesterday. Yes, you looked stunning, Spacey. I'm glad the ceremony wasn't rushed. Rushed? Well, you planned all this mere days before the ceremony was set to happen. You barely had time for a rehearsal. The rehearsal happens the night before. We had plenty of time. Claude abruptly looks up. About that, I have a complaint. Karma, please. Quiet, Llama. He furrows his eyebrows at me. Were you not going to invite us to your wedding, darling? You had no idea we'd be in Angil when you made that proposal, after all. No, I did not. Claude deflates. Truly, I'm wounded. I shake my head. I love fucking Karma. Love him so much. This was a ceremony for the two of us. It's true I wanted friends there if they could make it, but the grand ceremony with the nobles in attendance will probably happen next month. Be that as it may, I'm glad you and Lance were there yesterday, Claude. Claude reflects my smile back at me. Oh, I'm waiting for the glitter, but he's not doing it. Me too, Your Majesty. Please expect an extravagant gift from Bugantia on the day of your second ceremony. Please also consider this a warning, Your Majesty. My brother's gifts are known to be overwhelming. We know we played his route! You need a little bit of all of them in your life. With Rod, I just want the talking stuffed rabbit. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with Rod, but But I want the, over-the-topness of Claude. Everybody wants... I want a little bit of that. But you also need, on the same hand, the just overwhelming need to make you happy that, frickin' Chevalier has. You're with the, simmered downness of Walt. I just want a little bit of all of them. And maybe if you're wearing glasses, I'll take Rod's attitude. Because, every once in a while you might need that. Yeah, are you wearing your bitch glasses? Yeah, okay, then you can be an asshole to me, because it's fine. If you're not wearing the glasses, then simmer the fuck down. We don't take that attitude. Sometimes we do. Really depends. But anyway, it helps if you have glasses, is all I'm saying. Give me attitude. You better be my glasses, asshole. This doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Rod coughs. Are you going to eat? Your breakfast is getting cold and we're waiting for you to finish before we drink tea. Waltz lifts his glass with a bright smile. Until late morning breakfast with friends. It's ridiculous, and yet everyone raises a glass to toast him. He's just so... I love Waltz, don't get me wrong, but he is not kingly at all. Chevalier could pull it off, because he's a little, he'd be dressed formal. Rod's been prince in training. Claude, obviously. But, Waltz is, he's, there's so many movies where it's did you ever see Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn? Oh my god, I used to love that movie in the fucking 80s. I used to love that movie. Yeah. And she was the rich bitch. She was a bitch, but she was the rich woman on her yacht, and she had him come into oh, you're just a contractor. You're here to do work for me, whatever. And then she falls overboard and hits her head and then forgets everything. So he's yeah, she's my wife. And then she's subjected to he's 12 kids or something. Doesn't really have that many, but he has a fuck ton of kids. He And they really make him, instead of being like, oh, I'm like a contractor, makes a decent living, you know, but it's literally like, he is like fucking redneck ratchet, like living in a shack type shit. I mean, like, they literally like overdo it with the like, oh, she's like this rich snobby bitch, but like the freaking shoe closet he builds for her, I still see this in my head where like you push a button and like rotate, and I'm like, I still want a closet like that in my brain. It's been there for like 85 fucking years, okay? It just lives rent-free in my mind. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, yos. Anyway. And then, like, obviously, like, oh, whatever, shenanigans ensue and they fall in love. Like, spoiled the movie for you. Like, if you didn't fucking see that coming, give me a fucking break, okay? Come on. But, like, Waltz is like that character. He's like the, I don't know how to do this rich shit. Like, he is like that 80s quintessential, like, wrong side of the tracks. Like, he's Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, and, like, was it Richard Gere that was in that movie? I can't even remember, but, like, that's who we are. Like, every movie in, like, the 80s and 90s was like that. It was mostly the 80s trope. It was like, yeah, the two people, oh my god, fucking Pretty in Pink. Every movie! Oh my god, every movie had to be, like, you had the poor schmuck who was, like, literally, like, even if their parent or they themselves had a decent job, it was like, no, but you're wrong side of it. You live in squalor, you live in a rundown shack, and it's like, he's a lawyer though? But like, okay, sure. Whatever. And then there was always some billionaire on the other side of it, and it was just, like, I mean, I'm just saying, that was like every fucking movie in the 80s. But Waltz is like that character where you're like, you just do not fit, like, being a king. And there's nothing wrong with it. He's just like homeboy. He's like, I'm just down to earth, normal, like, I can go out and muck stables and shit like that. And you're like, and we're like the princess who's like, what? Oh god, horses poop? No. I mean, I know we're not that bad, but I just see that. I watch too many 80s movies, okay? I just see that visual of like, he did not, this is gonna be bad. Like, I know they tried to paint Chevalier as being like, not knowing how to deal with nobles, but it was really more like I don't know how to just tell them to shut their fucking mouths. I'm a doctor and they should listen to me. Like, you could at least put a crown on his head and been like, yeah, he cleans up nice, but Waltz is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But he just looks like, no, he doesn't want to like wear the fancy frilly slick back hair. He's like, nah, my hair's always kind of rumpled, and like, he just looks well lived. You know what I mean? You know, like the days where you're like, I'm just lived in and I'm comfortable. My clothes are, everything is not perfectly pristine. That's like the most comfortable. You're like, no, I'm comfortable like this. That's what he looks like. He looked comfortable, lived in. Like, everything about the palace is like, strict, prim, proper, everything is and every crease is perfect. And he just doesn't fit. I just can't see him. It's just, I guess that's the kind of king you want. Like the rumpled up, like, comfortable, wear my lounge pants, no fucks given. But that was a long ass rant, but it's just funny thinking of Waltz as a king. It's just, don't get me wrong, I like it. Because it's so just not what you always see, you know? Anyway. To the queen and future king of Angeal, may your future always be bright. As Waltz and I turn to our food, the conversation everyone's been having around the table before Waltz and I returned resumes. There's really no reason for you to want to host me. Of course there is. We enjoy having guests. It's true. We love having Princess Emmeline. You should come with her this time. What are you all talking about? Before you arrived, I invited Rod to stay in Brigantia. We host Princess Emmeline all the time, after all. I think Rod would like it there as well. Brigantia has a vibrant nighttime scene. There's always a lot of dancing and singing. So you're inviting me to what? Dance and sing? Look at him blushing. Claude laughs. Only if you want to. It'll be a good time, Rod. You should come. Still not fully with the voice, huh? You're always talking about exploring new hobbies and passions. Maybe Brigantia is where you'll find them. So he doesn't have his dancing passion? Anyway. You'd even get away from studying for a while. Rod crosses his arms. Fine, go. It's settled then. We'll focus on arrangements after today's festivities. The animated conversation carries into our tea time. As much as I want to stay and hear the details, I have other things I must do today before my speech. Excuse me, everyone. I have a few errands I need to run. Are you sure you don't need any help? Like, seriously, he just looks so down to earth and normal. And like, I mean, sure, you could put nice clothes on him, but like, you cannot see Waltz without that hair. You're going to try to like slick it back. It's just not going to be Waltz. It's going to be odd. It's like in that episode of Black Butler. Actually, it was in Book of Atlantic, so it's technically a movie. When like Elizabeth's mother made Sebastian slick his hair back, and you were like, that's not how it works. He needs that rumpled hair because it's sexier. It was just, it's like that. It's like all slick, and the way, you know, she thought like a butler should have his hair, and you're like, but this is not, no, this is weird. It's fun, but it's still like, you're like, that's weird. I like it. It's funny. But that's exactly how Waltz would be. You'd be like, okay, but no, could we not? This part's going to be like 2 hours because I can't stop talking. I'm sorry. Anyway, I set a hand on Waltz's shoulder as I rise. No, I'd much rather you enjoy yourself here. You can catch up on everything tomorrow. If you're certain. I lean forward and whisper, one of us, at least, should be a gracious host. Good point. Maybe I'll try performing some magic tricks. You're still very much a child, aren't you? Battle it out, boys, and then kiss. Walt smiles sweetly at Claude. No need to get so worked up about my magic. At ease, small one. Claude's responding glare is so immediate it makes me laugh. Oh, no fighting in the man harem. I'll see you all later. I finish up the last of my tea before heading to the throne room. I spend an hour in the throne room speaking with various witch and fairy representatives I'm interviewing for positions on my new council. I meant what I said to Delora the other day. I want to expand my council so that includes not just human voices, but fairies and witches as well. So far, all of the applicants have been extremely qualified, which makes the selection process more difficult as I'm only accepting 8 new seats. I pinch the bridge of my nose as the most recent applicant leaves the throne room. Well, that was the last applicant. Is there a reason you decided to interview them today before a big festival? You've gone from being overwhelmed to suddenly doing everything at once. I had a burst of inspiration after speaking with Cinna. I called both Delora and Cinna here today to help me speak with the candidates. Delora's been my teacher for years, and Cinna's not only the Lucius bearer, but the one who inspired this idea in the first place. It makes sense to have them both here. Understandable. Of course you would say that. Still, remember not to overwork yourself, Your Majesty. Don't worry. After all this is done, Waltz and I plan on taking a much-needed vacation. Speaking of Waltz, it's rare to see you conducting this sort of business without him. Waltz has been by my side this entire time, but my duties are still my own. I thought it'd be best to start this process without Waltz and catch him up on things later. I hope you aren't still trying to prove yourself a worthy Tenebrarum bearer by taking on too much work for yourself. I can't do Delora's voice when she has long sentences. No, I'm simply striving to be better. I will let my actions speak for themselves. Delora crosses her arms. Spoken like a true witch queen. The title startles me. Witch queen? Well, if you think about it, that's what you are, isn't it? Never mind the fact that you're a halfling. Details. Witch queen. Like my mother. And titles are just that. Titles. We inject new meaning into them all the time. I wonder if I could accomplish such a thing with that title. Anyway, since that was the last applicant for the day, I assume you want us to excuse ourselves so you can make preparations for your speech? The speech is in about an hour. I wonder if I have time to do that other thing that's been on my mind. Yes, we're done for the day. Thank you both for assisting me. It's an honor, Miss Tenebrarum bearer. Cinna shrugs. It's my duty to help you keep things balanced. That's the only reason I'm here. You can admit you look up to Spacey. I think she'd appreciate hearing that from you. He's all blushing. Amazingly, Cinna doesn't say anything to that, which means... Thank you, Cinna. I look up to you too. I mean down, but not like that. It's just because you're short. Goodbye. Cinna turns on his heels and walks away. Delora flashes me one last grin before trailing him out of the room. After they leave, I'm alone in the room with just a handful of knights. Sitting here in this quiet, atop this throne, the weight of everything to come suddenly crashes down on my shoulders again. But I'll no longer be cowed. I'm looking forward to facing these challenges with Waltz. I stand and wave one of the knights over. Are Lady Jurian and Sir Garland preoccupied right now? The commander and Sir Garland are organizing the security around town. I wouldn't want to bother them. Your Majesty, if I may speak freely. Of course. Sir Fitzgerald has been... Fitzgerald. I always want to call him Fitzgerald, but it's Fritz. Gerald. Wow. Has been looking for you all morning. He's on break, but I think he's waiting outside to speak with you. Perfect. I'd rather do this next thing with someone who'll not ask too many questions. Then I'll not make him wait. Thank you for letting me know. I dismiss the knight and head for the exit. The minute I step outside, Fritz suddenly appears before me. Your Majesty. Fritz bows low before me. The promotion Jurian gave me, I had come to thank you in person. Oh, right. I was wondering when Jurian would tell him about the promotion. You don't need to thank me for something you earned, Fritz. But I do. It was your belief in me that allowed me to stay here. I'll forever be grateful you gave me another chance to prove myself. What happened 2 years ago wasn't your fault, Fritz. Still nothing. But if you'd like to thank me, perhaps you could do me a favor? Anything. I know he'd do anything for us, that's sweet. Accompany me to the dungeons. I like his hand. The fuck? But why? I need to visit a prisoner. The witch you just recently tried in court? The one who was guilty? A pang goes through my heart at his words. It's true, we managed to get the arsonist to confess. He did so without any guilt. He said he would rather rot in the dungeons than have to serve a queen he didn't believe in. Yes, that witch. May I ask why? You shall see when we get there. I gesture for Fritz to follow after me, and the two of us make our way to the dungeons. The dungeons are cold and dreary as always. I force a neutral expression onto my face as I approach the witch's cell. I find him sitting cross-legged on the ground, staring up at the ceiling. What do you want, soft heart? He angles his head to look at me with disdain. You do not get to speak to Her Majesty like that. It's okay, Fritz. I approach the bars. I didn't get to bring this up in court because it has nothing to do with the proceedings, but I wanted to let you know I'm adding witches to my council. The witch stares at me, baffled. Why would you tell me this? Is this some kind of trick? No trick, just the truth. You said I'm not like my mother. You're right. My mother lied and manipulated others. She saw things in black and white, good and bad, but we're all more complicated than that. My mother only took the council of witches that kneeled before her. She ruled through fear. I was also wrong. So I'm doing things differently, my way. I thought I ought to let you know since you were so concerned with my lack of effort. The witch leans back against the wall with a sigh. It's no use. Humans will always be afraid of things they don't understand. Kinda not untrue. They'll always fear those who have more power than them. This ideal peace you speak of is impossible. Or actually, they'll say perhaps. Perhaps. Your Majesty. There's no such thing as true peace. There will always be upheaval and dissent. Such is the nature of society. We can incorporate structures that will help us deal with those injustices fairly. Even if an ideal is unattainable, I don't think it's foolish to work towards it regardless. He's like, That's the difference between my mother and I. She gave up. The only solution she was interested in was bloodshed. But violence begets more violence. I'll not pit humans and witches against each other. I'll never take sides. That's my duty as both the Tenebrarum bearer and as the Queen of Angeal. The witch exhales softly. Perhaps it's a trick of the light, but he looks like he's smiling. There's nothing more painful than putting your heart into something that will inevitably fail. Perhaps, but I'd much rather try than give up. You have more of a backbone than I thought, Your Majesty. Your Majesty. He actually used my title. This has been an enlightening talk. I still think it's all foolishness, but I appreciate hearing all this from your own mouth. It's my duty as bearer to watch over the witches of this kingdom. You're included in that duty even if you don't consider me your queen. I step away from the bars. That's all I came down here to say. Good day. Oh, you're still being beheaded. Oh, also, move up his execution. We're gonna have it at the festival. It'll be great. Damn! Kidding. I turn and walk away, Fritz trailing behind me. Your Majesty, that was foolishness, I know. No, that was amazing. You're the most fearless person I know. I know I did his voice weird just a minute ago. Well, the two of us make our way back to the above-ground corridors. Thank you for accompanying me, Fritz. Of course. Feel free to call on me whenever you need me, Your Majesty. I shall. And Fritz? Yes? You can use my name every once in a while, you know. Oh, of course, Queen Spacey. Better. Will you be at the anniversary festival today? Yes, Lady Jurian gave me the day off. I'll be visiting the bakeries today. I hear they have a lot of special baked goods. If you happen to see a stall by the fountain with a floral top, I highly recommend their chocolate almond croissants. They're exquisite. I never knew Fritz had a sweet tooth. Chocolate almond croissants. That sounds good. I'll do that. Thank you, Fritz. Until next we meet, Your Queen Spacey. Fritz bows before excusing himself. I head in the opposite direction, toward the front gates where I'm to give my speech. Based on the reception of the audience, my speech is well received. I tell the audience of the endeavors I've already discussed with Waltz. I tell them about my intention to make every voice in my kingdom heard. I promise that I'll judge every crime based on the sin, not the sinner. It doesn't matter who the criminal is. Human, witch, or fairy, all should be judged equally. I tell them my hopes for the future, that Angeal will be a peaceful place where everyone gets along, no matter who their neighbor is. And lastly, I'd like to introduce someone I believe can expound on my efforts, though I'm sure you all know who he is. Everyone, please welcome Waltz Cresswell to the stage. The audience bursts into wild applause as Waltz steps into place beside me. Hello, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here on stage, speaking with all of you. Please excuse my blunders. I'm used to being on stage as a performer. I'm still working on politics. This prompts some chuckles from the audience. Waltz uses that disclaimer at the beginning of every speech, but he's just as good a speaker as he is a performer. He's always had a gift for putting others at ease. Oh, that he is in this! Okay, like, when he's posed like this, he's very kingly and princely. It's the sad prince. Sad for Lord Prince. I just love it. I can't help it. I love his sprite so much when he does this. Not a day goes by that I don't remember the Great War. It's true I served Lady Hildur then. She stole many things from me. My family, my free will, my heart. And I followed her because without those things, I was lost. My whole life I've been trying to redeem myself. I'll never forget the past. It's true it can't be changed, but it's only through acknowledging it that we can push forward. My goal has and will always be to help build a brighter future, one in which the Crystallum are balanced and everyone's happy. It's an honor to make that dream a reality alongside Queen Spacey, the Tenebrarum bearer. Waltz's speech is well received, which is unsurprising. After introducing Cinna, he joins me at the back of the stage. You were phenomenal as always, little star. And you were a natural on that stage, like always. Well, I had a good teacher. Me? Of course. I've watched you give speeches every month for 2 years. I don't think I haven't been taking notes. When will you let me learn something from you? You're welcome to come to my magic lessons, but I doubt you need them. Still, I hope you'll come visit the students more often. I'd like that. More applause follows Cinna's speech. He, like Waltz and I, speaks at length about balancing the Crystallum and making things equal between the fairies, witches, and humans. At the end of the speech, all three of us come to the front of the stage to deliver our final words. This time, when the audience cheers, they throw lilies onto the stage. The response brings a smile to my face. I remember what Cinna said about wishes and making them come true on her own. I will dedicate myself to Angeal for the rest of my days. I will make sure our future is a bright one. After the speech, the townspeople approach with their bouquets and well wishes. The air is filled with jubilant conversation as they come to offer their praise. I was going to say, I thought it was going to be I was like, praise. I don't know why my brain was not reading the word praise, but my mouth did. Anyway, it's more overwhelming today than any other day of the year, but with Waltz's help, the two of us managed to speak to everyone. By the time we're all done, all I want is to sit on a bench and relax, but we've got some time before the surprise I planned. Maybe we could use the free time to treat ourselves to something delicious. I remember what Fritz said about there being a bunch of theme baked goods around town today. He mentioned some stall with almond chocolate croissants. What are you in the mood for? See, if we say croissants, we're doing what Fritz wants, but we say candied apples, because that's a Waltz thing, I guess. I thought we were the one that liked candied apples, but whatever. But it's been that was the thing earlier, so. How nostalgic of you. What? They're clearly the superior treat. I can always pick up a croissant later. Agreed. Waltz holds out his hand. I take it and allow him to lead me toward our favorite stall. See, it's our favorite stall. It's our thing. I think it was a her thing, but I can't quite remember. I just remember coming up, but I thought it was she always liked them. But it's a them thing. And the croissant is that's definitely, Fritz recommended this. And he's but, okay, whatever. And normally that's fine. Your friend recommends something, but it's an Otome game. The stall owner we've been visiting for years is there and smiles at us brightly when we arrive. Queen Spacey, Lord Waltz. The man bows deeply. It is, as always, an honor to serve you both. Thank you for your thoughtful speeches today. What will you two have today? The usual, please. Always a good choice. Waltz digs into his pocket for coins for the merchant, but the man refuses to take them when he hands us our apples. I can't take money from you, especially not today. Please, these are my treat. Thank you. Thank you, Your Majesty. Your patronage is the greatest honor. He's I'm going broke from all the fucking free apples. I'm just kidding. Waltz and I settle on a nearby bench to eat the apples, but when I reach to take mine from him, he lifts my apple into the air away from me. He takes a bite from his and chews for a few moments before finally handing me my apple, a mischievous smile on his face. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure they weren't poisonous. I gather electricity at my fingertips and shock him in the shoulder. Waltz just laughs. You remember what I said years ago, when I first treated you to these apples? Other than that same poison apple comment, you said you would always remember that day. Waltz nods. I'll never forget how happy you looked that day. You told me you were fulfilling a promise you made to me long ago. That's right. You'd always wanted to try all the desserts around town, but couldn't leave the palace. And now, here we are. Waltz kisses the top of my head. Right. Here we are. I clicked and it didn't go anywhere, sorry. After the two of us finish our dessert, Waltz stands and offers me a hand. It's about time for your surprise, I think. Last year, Waltz used his magic to craft archways made of lilies in the main plaza for me to walk through. I hope he didn't go out of his way to do something like that this year. Sounds like a Claude thing to do, but see, okay, I don't mind that Waltz is a little cheesy like this too. I need a cheesy man in my life, I'm just saying. I'm both excited and nervous. But with Waltz, it's it's thoughtful and simple and beautiful. And with Karma, it's still thoughtful, but it's over the motherfucking top. It's excessive. You're you could simmer it down a little. He has these grand ideas and Waltz could be I'm just going to pull you back a little bit. There you go. Don't be nervous. I know you're going to love this. He winks at me. Would you mind closing your eyes? What? Please? A surprise isn't a surprise if you can see it. He leans closer to me, close enough to whisper in my ear. Don't worry, little star. I'll guide you. Fine, if you insist. I close my eyes and hold tight to Waltz's hand, letting him lead me to the surprise location. We're almost there. I hear jubilant chatter as we pass through lively crowds, but I can't focus on any of their conversations. All I hear is the loud thudding of my own heartbeat. And then, I hear a door open. Waltz leads me carefully through an opening. Open your eyes, little star. I was like, did he bring me to the Marchen? Yeah. I open my eyes to find myself in a familiar space. I recognize it immediately. My home away from home. The Marchen Tavern. I was kind of wondering, like, did he take us here and everybody's there? Surprise! Okay. Yep, everyone's there. That's what I was wondering. When a door opened, I'm like, are we at the Marchen? And it's like, all of our friends are going to be there. All of my friends stand before me, clapping and laughing at my surprise. I'm too shocked to even be embarrassed. It's been a long time, too long, since I saw all of them here together. You're gaping, Your Majesty. Her Majesty has reason to be surprised. It's been years since we were all here. The last time we were a lovely queen was but a princess. And now she's the most powerful woman in all the land. And that's some impressive character development. Characters? Ha! You speak as if we're characters in a fairy tale. I mean, fucking crescendo in the music. We're all characters in a fairy tale. Da-da-da! It's like perfect fucking timing. And good thing we aren't, Be a little disappointing if this were just a story. Way to, like, slap us upside the head, Jurian. Like, ha ha ha! Your real life sucks! Thanks. I needed that today. It would make a good tale for a bard, though, wouldn't it? Waltz wraps an arm around my shoulders and pulls me closer. Surprise, Spacey. I don't understand. What are you all doing here? We're all here for you, Your Majesty. Oh, look at... We even let the broom out of the closet for today. Oh, no. The broom hops into my arms before I can step away. Thankfully, it doesn't force me to clean anything. It just seems jittery with excitement. That's a cute touch. I suppose it's good to see you again, Mr. Broom. The broom hops around us all in celebration. Despite my best efforts, I can't stop myself from laughing. I thank the gods Lance wasn't invited. You're just glad he's not here to steal all the attention away from you. It's really hard when you two are together, because then I have to, like, really try very hard to differentiate the same voice that you have. It's the hard part with this game. I couldn't come up with better voices, because they all kind of seem like they have the same two voices. So, anyway. He doesn't steal the attention away from me. You're clearly in denial, Prince. I don't know why he would. You glitter and I love you to death. You're my favorite. Stop. Shush, small one. What did you just call me? Oh, tiny lord, I wouldn't. Comment on my height one more time and I'll smash your chair over your head. I'll smash a chair over your head. Sorry. You will not. Anise approaches and takes my hand as the banter continues. It was Waltz's suggestion. He thought you might enjoy a dinner with friends for a change of pace. Friends. The word makes my eyes fog with tears. Once upon a time, I didn't have any friends. Now I have many of them, and I'm so incredibly grateful for all of them. I made your favorites for tonight. I hope you like them. Anise suddenly looks nervous. Your Majesty? I realize I'm crying in earnest now. Waltz wipes a stray tear away. You okay, little star? Everything about this is perfect, Waltz! I'm sorry. Good. I'd like to think I know you pretty well. I turn back to Anise. Please, Anise, I'd love dinner. Anise claps her hand together and raises her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Dinner time, everyone! Everything's on the house, including the hot chocolate! As everyone cheers and follows after Anise, I turn to Waltz. It's funny that she's saying that because, like, this tavern isn't open for business anymore. So, like, it would be like going to someone's house and be like, everything's on the house! Normally, I make my friends pay for their food when they come over, but we're not running a restaurant here. I know it's a tavern, but it's not a running tavern, is what I'm saying. So, like, thank you, Waltz, for everything. Waltz pulls me into an embrace. No, thank you, little star. The two of us share a quick kiss beneath the tavern lights before we follow the group into the reception area. Tonight, I forget I'm a queen and the Tenebrae bearer. Tonight I'm just Spacey, a girl who's here at the Marchand Tavern to enjoy good food and good company. Oh, the end. But now we actually get our end chapter, I'm assuming. Here we go. The Queen and King of Angel! Oh, we made him a king. Oh. Hello again, Mother, Father. Walt steps forward to place a single flower between his parents' graves. It's early morning. The two of us teleported here soon after we woke. It was Walt's single request for today. He wanted to tell his parents the news. He's been grunking. Today's a very special day, after all. I brought Spacey with me today. My wife. I still can't believe we're finally married. I moved to stand beside Waltz. Hello again. I came to tell you both about the ceremony happening today. Waltz shifts on his feet. The motion makes him look nervous. It's the first show of anxiety I've seen from him today. I gently take his hand and squeeze it reassuringly. It's been a busy few months since we married, but I think Waltz is ready now for the crowning ceremony. Glad I have your vote of confidence. It's not just mine. Everyone else feels the same way too. You've been helping me rule this kingdom for 2 years. You know the policies inside and out by now. Okay, so like the NCG is like him being crowned king, but he like isn't like normal Waltz. He's like dressed up kingly Waltz. It's going to be really weird with what I said earlier. Because it's like, he just looks like he's comfortable in the woods, romping through the woods, not dressed up tight with a crown, you know? So if they like gussy him all up with a crown, it's going to be like, see, but this is what I'm talking about. It's awkward. I still want to see it, but it's going to be awkward. Might look great. It's going to be like poor Waltz. Probably feels awkward. Waltz turns back to the graves. He chuckles. It's a soft, anxious sound. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yes, today is the crowning ceremony. Today, Waltz officially becomes the King of Angel. Waltz's grip on my hand suddenly grows loose. He stumbles, looking suddenly like a man trying to balance himself on a swaying ship. Waltz, are you okay? He just laughs, that soft, carefree laugh I've always loved. I just can't believe it. I've never been one for titles. The prodigy, Peter Pan, magician. Those all felt like exceptions other people put on expectations. Wow, I can't read. Those all felt like expectations other people put on me. King of Angel isn't just a title, though. It's an honor. I'm still in denial I get to accept it today. What you doing? Oh, don't bite me! That's not nice! Just not nice, you're nasty. He shakes his head, his eyes bright with wonder, but I wanted to touch you. You're so confident, little star. You were made to rule a kingdom. You're diligent and hardworking and wise beyond your years. And I feel terribly inadequate next to you. This isn't like you, Waltz Cresswell. Not only are you one of the most capable people I've ever known, but you're also one of the bravest and most confident. You've done everything you could and more for Angel. You say I was made for this, but so were you. The throne's been waiting for someone like you. Waltz pulls me in toward him, wrapping an arm around my shoulders and pressing a kiss to my head. You always know exactly what to say. I'd like to think I know you pretty well by now. I glanced toward the graves. Last time we were here, the quiet felt oppressive. Today, the silence is serene. The silence is serene, not the shrieking. Shrieking is not serene. Oh, I touched you. Waltz turns his attention back to the graves. God, his sad, beautiful side profile. I love it so fucking much. You see why I fell in love with Spacey all those years ago. I thought you were here to tell them about the ceremony, not me. I can't bring you here and not flatter you in front of my parents. He plants another quick kiss on my head before letting go of my hand and kneeling in front of the graves. He dips his head and begins to whisper, speaking words to his parents that aren't for me to hear. I move to lean against a nearby tree so as to give him some space. I gaze at Waltz from afar. It's hard to believe when we first met he was cursed into the form of a boy. I was running from men who wanted to steal my gold back then. I remember Waltz and Claude were there to rescue me and take me back to the tavern. And before that, I saw Waltz in town with Emmeline performing magic. He offered me a lily, which I refused. I didn't understand why he looked so sad then. Waltz was waiting all those years for me. Well, no longer. There's no reason for us to postpone this. We've both been ready for a long time. The sun passes overhead, throwing shards of glimmering sunlight across the forest floor as the leaves quiver in the wind. The shifting sun reminds me of our quickly diminishing time. Waltz? Waltz rises from his crouch. I'm ready to go. Then let us return. As Waltz is conjuring a portal, I approach the gravestones. I set a hand on one of the rocks. I never had the honor of knowing you, but I want you to know I love your son dearly. He calls me his little star, but in truth, I think he shines more brightly than I do. His unflagging optimism and dedication have kept me afloat. Spacey? Waltz waits patiently by the portal. Coming. I brush my hand across the stone one last time before following Waltz into the portal. The rest of the day is chaotic on account of all of our preparations. Dignitaries and representatives from in and out of our kingdom wander the corridors, conversing about all manner of things. Your Majesty, the royal seamstress says your dress is ready. One maid stops abruptly in front of me, frazzled. She bows belatedly. We're sorry to interrupt. It's fine. Please send the seamstress to my room. Understood. I turn to Waltz, who's helped me run errands through the day. He's been introducing himself to people I've only ever corresponded with via letter. It's hard to believe the day's just beginning, what with everything going on. You don't remember how much upheaval there was when I was crowned? Things are busy, but you're going to want to imprint these memories in your mind forever. It's a special day. I know. My own coronation came shortly after the kingdom was saved. It was a tumultuous, uncertain time. Things are much calmer now. Though the magic incidents haven't stopped, they're less frequent. I like to think it's because the council that helps me make decisions now has representatives from all over Angeal. For the first time, there are humans, witches, and fairies on the council. Lieutenant Brerum and Lucius are the most stabilized they've been in years. Finally, things are beginning to look up. Now's the perfect time for your coronation. If the Queen of Angeal says so, then it must be true. Spacey? Oh, I didn't know who was talking, so it's just normal voice. There you go. We turn to see Ophelia approaching with Emmeline and a few maids trailing her. Emmeline's practically bouncing on her feet. Spacey, what are you still doing here? We need to get you ready. They act like it's my big day. It's imperative you look regal today. I agree. That goes for you, too. I personally had the seamstress make you an outfit for the coronation. I can't wait to say it. I know. But no matter what I wear, you'll always be the one who shines brightest. As it should be. Waltz, this is your coronation. Ophelia chuckles. But you're still Queen of Angeal, and you must look the part. Come now. We'll see you later, Waltz. Emmeline and Ophelia begin to pull me away. I desperately cast a glance over my shoulder, but Waltz just looks amused. Don't worry, little star. I'll make sure the rest of the preparations are taken care of. He waves as Ophelia and Emmeline pull me around the corner. In my room, I'm fussed over by an overwhelming amount of people, all of whom poke and prod at me until they determine I look perfect. When I voice my concerns that Waltz is the focus, everyone waves the words away. Nonsense! And this is every bit your accomplishment as Waltz's. And the two of you are going to rule together after all. Exactly! You have to look stunning! The two of them remain after I've dismissed the palace staff. You look stunning, dear. Like a queen out of a fairy tale. Oh, look, we even got our sprite dressed up. Look at me, we fancy. I'd like to think this is more real than a fairy tale. True, fairy tales have happy endings, but they skim over the best details. And this is what makes the love we achieve in reality better than any fairy tale love. A real love is more complicated and profound. Like Ophelia's rubbing it in our face that we lonely fucking weirdos. You're lonely bitches. Thanks a lot, Ophelia. God. Ophelia adjusts the clasps on my shoulders and checks the length of my cape. I thank you both for helping me. Of course. Where's Rod? He's making sure every noble knows where to sit when the throne room doors open. He's also, making sure the Almonte brothers don't fight in front of everyone. I think about Claude and his brother bickering in a crowd of stuffy royals and laugh. They'll be a much welcome sight in the audience. What of my friends? All here and accounted for. I've prepared the seating so they have a front row view. Perfect. I turn to look at myself in the mirror. I barely recognized the woman who looks back at me. When I first wore this crown, it felt too heavy for me. I was still grieving then, and I feared the weight of the future. Now I reach up to adjust it with a smile. Your Majesty? Come in. A servant steps in the room and bows. Lord Waltz, His Majesty. He's still Lord Waltz for right now. What did you want to tell me? He's waiting in the throne room for you. Are you sure this is okay? Doesn't he have to be standing outside when the ceremony starts? It's fine, dear. We still have over an hour before the ceremony begins. Let Spacey and Waltz have some time alone together. We're going to see him in his pretty outfit. I'm going to love it. I can't wait. It's going to be so awkward. But it's going to look great. But it's going to be like, it's so not Waltz, but I love it. You know, it's going to be that. She rests a reassuring hand on my back. Good luck, Spacey. As per the traditions of the ceremony, I'll be crowning Waltz. But he's the one who needs to speak his vow to Angeal. He's been practicing the ceremony for weeks to get it right. I hope you know that no matter what happens in the future, we'll all be here for you. Always. Even when you're in Brigantia, doting over a foreign prince? Even then? Ophelia laughs as she steers Emmeline towards the door. We'll clear the corridor for you. See you at the ceremony, Spacey! Goodbye. After the two of them leave, I wait inside for a few moments until the corridor quiets. Even though I'm not the one being crowned today, I nonetheless find myself shaking with nerves. So much has happened so fast. Even when I pinch myself, the reality remains, and yet I'm still in denial. Before, this kind of happiness felt impossible, like something meant for someone else. But no, this is reality. Waltz is waiting for me. I open the door and head for the throne room. Just as Emmeline and Ophelia promised, the corridors leading to the throne room are empty of everyone save the knights of the Order of Caldera. Perhaps this is why I'm not surprised when the first people I see beyond the throne room doors are Jurian and Garland. Your Majesty? Your Majesty? They both bow before me. Hello, you two. How are preparations coming? Everything's ready, my queen. We'll start bringing people in when you give the signal. She casts a look over her shoulder. Even from here, I could see a lone figure on the throne. Rest assured, I'll guard Lord Waltz with my life. And I'll be behind you the whole time, Your Majesty. I glanced between the knights when I first met them, they had been dishonorably discharged from the Order because of the rightful suspicion they harbored against Alcaster. Now, here they stand, the two highest-ranking knights of the Order of Caldera. Thank you both for your hard work and loyalty. It's our honor to serve, Your Majesty. We'll make sure everything goes exactly as planned today. I'll leave the security in your capable hands. Please do. Jurian exits the room, perhaps to give Waltz and I more privacy. Garland is following her out when I ask a question. Have you two set a date for your wedding yet? Garland freezes. It'll be in the spring. That's Jurian's favorite season. Congratulations. And to you as well, Your Majesty. Thank you for your kind words. He exits, still looking flustered. That's so fucking adorable. I laugh as I turn back to Waltz. Even reclining the way he is on the throne, he looks regal. The sight of him takes my breath away. Okay, I just need to see him thrown across the throne. Hello, little star. Hello, Waltz. Are you so nervous you're sitting in the throne because you can't stand? Promise you won't laugh. I promise. I wanted to make sure I sat in it the right way. The last thing I want is to look like a fool in front of everyone. I laugh. Oh, that is most definitely not how you sit on a throne. He smiles as I approach, his eyes glimmering like distant stars. They're purposely not showing you him yet. You look beautiful, Spacey. Like magic personified. Well, I am the Tenebrae bearer, so I suppose that's appropriate. And you look very handsome. What's that? I couldn't hear you. You're gonna have to step a little closer. We're gonna get our CG of him before we get the sprite. I laugh as I step closer, 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 until I'm standing before the throne. Waltz's throne. Must I repeat myself? If you'd be so kind as to whisper it in my ear? Waltz. Humor me. No one's gonna see us like this. My heart beats a frenzied rhythm as I slide into Waltz's lap. I mean, seriously, he's beautiful, but it's so not Waltz. I love it, though. I told you it was going to happen. Like, with the eyeliner, jeez. Like, but it's like his hair's all, I mean, he still has the bags in the front, but it's like, I told you this is exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be like, he's going to look beautiful, but it's going to be like, it's so not Waltz, but I love it, but it's so weird, but I love it. Okay, now you can say it. Look at him. All fancied up. Okay, I lied. He can pull it off. Never mind. This is hardly traditional. You know me, Spacey. I have tricks aplenty up my sleeve. I'm hardly a traditional king. I lean close enough that our noses brush. You look very handsome, my king. And you, my queen, are the most beautiful woman in the whole world. The two of us laugh. This close, our breaths intermingle. Am I the first man to see you like this today? I give him a teasing smile. You are. And lucky man that you are, you'll be the first to see me every day for the rest of our lives. That's actually a lie because Garland was the first man to see you like that, but okay. Waltz laughs. I am lucky, the luckiest man in the whole world. He presses his forehead to mine. You know that I'll always love you, right? Sitting here on the throne together, two of us are frozen in time. I could see her looking into Waltz's eyes like this forever. Eventually the ceremony must begin. Eventually we must put on formal airs for the audience. But right now, it's just the two of us, and I allow myself the luxury of basking in Waltz's warmth. I look into his eyes and see the future. It's the brightest, most beautiful future I could ever dream. I love you, Spacey. I love you too, Waltz. Forevermore. I was like, because I thought we were going to see the ceremony, but that's like the perfect place to end it, not going to lie. And their love lasted forevermore. Forevermore. That's the title of our ending. Beautiful. Look at that. Even with my rambling, we managed to make this bitch under an hour. Boom. It would have been so much shorter if I hadn't rambled for like an hour about like 80s movies. I'm like, Walt's just not fitting the king image. And then the game bitch slapped me in the face because it was like, bitch, really? Look at him in this outfit. And it's like, you know what? He pulls it off. I still wish we could have seen a sprite. You know what I mean? Like, I want a sprite, but that's all right. We got my God. I mean, like, first CG that we got in the game was like, oh, so saucy. Game, you sneaky bitch. Ah. And like this, oh, so cute. Nothing is ever going to be as good as this, like, side profile sprite. I'm sorry. That is, like, the best thing in this fucking game. That is better than any of the fucking CGs. I'm, like, normally, like, the sprites are good, and then you see the CGs, and you're like, oh my God. You know? But, like, that side profile sprite is the best fucking thing. It's... nothing holds a candle to that. What the fuck? I mean... Aw. He looks concerned to be buried in our bosom here. This one is beautiful, though, because, like, I really do like all the fireflies and stuff around. The little sparkly lights are beautiful. Oh. Oh, that's true. I totally forgot. We did already see him dressed up in the wedding attire, so we should have expected it. The kingly attire. You know what? Again, it's been a few days. I fucking forgot. And the weird thing is, we started, I was like, oh, right, we got married. My brain did actually sort of half see this CG in my head, but not entirely. So, like, I should have expected this look. I should have expected it, like, and known he can handle it. He can handle it. He does look really beautiful in this. She looks slightly awkward. She looks slightly different. Like, not quite her normal self. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're like, it's slightly not, it almost looks like it's our sister and not us. It's like, I could just be like the angle or whatever, but I like this one. This is our wedding one. I totally forgot that so somebody was like, we already saw him all dressed up, stupid. Well, you know, this is such as my look. I can't remember. Seriously, it's a Monday right now. Okay. I'm recording this on a Monday. And I got groceries and I was putting them away. And I was like looking at the date on one of my like salads that I bought, right? And I was like, oh shit, I gotta eat that tomorrow. What the frick? And I'm like, that's okay. Maybe I'll eat it tonight for dinner instead of like whatever, you know. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, because it's Tuesday in my head. You know, it's Tuesday. And then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, wait, it's Monday? Wait, what? But yesterday was Monday. Because I had like an early morning meeting and I forgot about it. I forgot. And normally I'm like, okay, I roll my ass out of bed right before the meeting, blah, blah, blah. But this one started at the time I'm normally like snoozing through. It was an hour before my normal, like 40 minutes before my normal roll out of bed and try to log on. So like, I was like, shit, my alarm went up. Fuck! I had to fly out of bed, logging on my computer, my glasses on in my pajamas, waking up the birds. Had to put my contacts on while the meeting was going. Cause like, oh my God, I was like, shit! Like, I've never flung myself out of bed and gotten to work so fast. Cause, you know, like, roll out of bed and go to my dining room. But I think that's thrown me off, not realizing that it's fucking Monday. And I had so many meetings and then lunch happened and then I got back. And then it was like, it's only been a day. Like, I really thought all that shit in the morning happened yesterday. I was like, it's still in my brain. I'm like, it's only fucking Monday. But it's weird. Okay, I'm having a day. So, like, don't blame me that I couldn't remember after 3 or 4 days not playing. That we already saw them all dressed up. But look, like, we have, like, a plum bob here. I'm sorry, like a crystal tenebrae, whatever. But it's like a plum bob here, and he's got one too. Look at that fancy. Anyway, so yeah. Next time we will be back, and we will do his good ending. And that will be it for Walter's Rod. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.